Hey, good morning. Time for waking up. Can you believe it's Thursday already? You've been here for 3 weeks now. You're feeling better. You're looking better. You still need to get to bed on time because you don't. Yeah, I've been watching Netflix, watching Narcos on Netflix, and I just can't stop watching it. I'm addicted. Kind of like I'm addicted to waking up early and getting started on my morning because I know that it will help me be successful in approaching and attacking the things that I have on my to-do list given to me by you know who. So today I want to talk about, remember a couple of days ago we were talking about quantum physics and meditation, and Russell Brand gave a interview to a quantum physicist, and they were talking about how once you break everything down to the quantum level, there's no distinction between the air that you breathe and you. Well, the brain is so amazing. So when you meditate, you're able to separate your mind, or almost you could say your soul, from your physical body, because you are able to just be here in the now and understand that you've got a relationship with the creator that's not physical. And by way of relationship, today we're going to talk about something that's definitely a meditation, and it's putting yourself into an alternate reality for the purpose of enjoying this reality. And I learned it many, many years ago through a buddy of mine named Mike, and it's who used to work for Tony Robbins, and got really into Tony Robbins and taught me a lot. It's called the Dickens Process, and you probably know or have heard of the Christmas story, and it was written by Charles Dickens, and in it, although it seems as if it's several days of being tormented by these ghosts, Ebenezer Scrooge is able to live alternate realities, especially the future alternate reality, where the ghost of Christmas future shows him that if he doesn't change this one thing that's, well, really his whole personality, but if he doesn't change, the future is going to be very bleak. And you can use that in your own life to gain power over your id, or whatever we talked about this the other day, the super ego, the ego, and the id. If your id, for some belief that you have in your life, is constantly saying you can't do that, you can't do that, or if you're just lazy, or whatever the belief system is that's keeping you from pursuing your dreams more rapidly or more vociferously, you can use this Dickens process to gain a little bit of momentum. And essentially what it is, well, let's just go through it instead of describing it. We're going to do a Dickens process. It's going to take about 5 minutes, and when we get done, I'm going to hop right into our soul salutations. While we're doing our 8 soul salutations, remember, with each soul salutation, throughout the soul salutation, I want you to be thinking of one thing that you're grateful for and really try to express gratitude. And as you finish that soul salutation and you come to a pose where you look like you're praying, you can say thank you for that thing that you're grateful for. And then as you thrust up into your pose that looks like you're, flying. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a yoga master. You can begin thinking about the next thing that you're grateful for. So you'll have 8 things today that you'll be able to really be grateful for and think about. But before we get to that, lemon water. Let's do the Dickens process. I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. And I want you to think about your goal. Think about your dream. Mine is to start a business. What's yours? I want you to see what that looks like. What does it look like when you have accomplished your goal? See yourself in the accomplishment of your goal. You can begin to see yourself physically. What do you look like? Are you smiling? Go ahead and experience it. Put yourself there in your mind. What does it sound like? Are you laughing? Are people talking to you? Is it busy? Put yourself in that goal achieved state. What are your finances like? Do you got money? Do you have things together? Do you have a new house? What are your relationships like? Do you have relationships with friends, with family members? Are you traveling the world? Step into your goal. Whatever it is, the reason why you are waking up at some weird guy at 6 o'clock in the morning, you have a goal that you've been given, that you are gonna pursue, you're gonna make it. And when you get there, it's gonna look like this. We're stepping into the future so you can give yourself the answer to the big why. Why are you going to diligently train yourself now to move forward? Okay. Now, here's the part of the Dickens process that's meant to be painful. What is it that's keeping you from this goal? What is it that's keeping you from this dream? Well, Jeremy, there's a lot of things that are keeping me from the dream. Number 1, money. Number 2, I'm lazy. Number 3, I got kids. Number 4, number 5. I know. But if there was a biggest thing that's keeping you from pursuing this goal, what would it be? Fear. Yesterday we talked about just fail. But let's say it's fear. It could be fear of success. It could be fear of failure. Let's say it's fear. Well, that's what it is for me. You have what yours is in mind right now. And let's say that you never accomplish your goal because of this fear. This fear, or this challenge for you, whatever it is, what is your life going to be like next year? If you don't pursue your goal because of this limiting belief, is what Tony calls them. If you have this limiting belief in your life, and you hold on to it, and you don't break free from the chains of this limiting belief, how's your finances then? What are your relationships to other people like? What's your relationship to yourself like? Really understand that you have a limiting belief and you know what it is and you're allowing it to win. Because if you didn't want it to win, you wouldn't have to. You have the power, the strength, the fortitude to get past this limiting belief, but you haven't. A year from now, you still have this limiting belief. You still haven't progressed to your goals. What about 5 years from now? In 2022, you'll be 5 years older. And you'll look back and you'll be like, I remember like 5 years ago, I was really thinking I was going to start turning things around, but then I slipped back into my old habits, my old self. 5 more years of your life gone by and you are no further along. 5 more Christmases, 5 more birthdays. How's that going to affect you financially? Knowing that retirement's around the corner. How's it going to affect you in your relationships with others? You see them succeeding all around you, and you still just won't pursue your goals. How's it going to affect your relationship with yourself? How do you feel about yourself? And then 10 years from now, you're going to let this thing affect you your entire life. You're going to look back on your life when you're on your deathbed, and you're going to be just like all those patients that the nurse said. The thing that they wish they would have done different isn't something that they did do and they regret, but something that they didn't do. And this limiting belief is holding you back. That's your life. Because you only get one go-round on this. That limiting belief is holding you down. And now, imagine your deathbed. You're going to pass away. You've got this dream that you've always thought was so cool. And then you also have a limiting belief. And the one that you pursued the most and the one that you believed the most is that limiting belief. And now you're going to die. And you will have spent the only time that you'll ever have on this earth pursuing your limiting belief, believing that thing. The people at your funeral, yeah, they were all right, yeah. Yeah, they were always, so hopeful that they were going to make it big, that they were going to do this, do that. And now, wake up. Hey, the good news is, none of that has happened. None of that has happened. You're here today, ready to go. If you don't smash that limiting belief right now, today, all of that reality that you just visualized, it's going to happen, and probably worse. But now let's slip into one more part of the Dickens process, and then we'll do our soul salutations and be grateful for the things in our life. The next part of our Dickens process here. Close your eyes. Imagine that limiting belief. Put it right there on the ground in front of you as you stand over it. You remember that movie Office Space? And the three guys stood over the fax machine or the copy machine. And there it was. That limiting belief, that limiting piece of office equipment. It's right there. And they took bats to it. They blasted that thing and they destroyed it. That's your limiting belief. Go ahead. Take that limiting belief and whatever you want to do. You can blast it with a bat. You can put it on a rocket and launch it into space. You can burn it into a volcano. You can do whatever it is that you want to do with that limiting belief. But now, that limiting belief is gone. Your chains are gone. You can do whatever you want to do now. You have no more excuses. You have nothing to hinder you. You can move forward. Yes! What does your life look like a year from now? You don't have that stupid limiting belief. You haven't had it for 12 months. You've been able to move freely and do whatever it is that you want to do. What do your finances look like? Yeah, they're in order. What do your relationships look like? Oh, wow. What's your relationship with yourself like? When you look in the mirror, you know 12 months ago you put that behind you and you've been able to pursue for 12 months on a daily basis your dreams. What does it look like 5 years from now? 5 whole years from now. Who knows what's going to happen? Remember, Tony Robbins says that most people overestimate what they can do in a day, but they way underestimate what they can do in a year. And you've been on a path now for 5 years. You've got the house you want. Your kids are the way they want. Your relationships are the way they want. You're healthy. You're fit. You're looking good. The dream that you've been pursuing is right there. You're living it. You're in it. And you're happy. How about 10 years from now? If you're 40, you're 50. If you're 20, you're 30. 10 years from now, you've been pursuing your dream. You've let go of your limiting belief. And now you're really rocking it. And then in your deathbed, you're laying on the bed, your body is tired, and you're looking back on your life, and you just smile, and you know that you don't have any regrets, that there were challenges, but you laid it on the line. You weren't a participant in the game of life. You were a player. And now open your eyes. In quantum mechanics and the many worlds theory, it states basically, and just like I'm no yoga master, I'm no quantum physicist, that anything is possible. That there's many worlds that are living simultaneously, and that we have what John Steinbeck wrote about in East of Eden, the Hebrew word timshel, which means the choice. We have the choice to pursue whatever reality we want. It's called free will. And you were able to create 2 realities today. 2 realities that are created based on one choice. And that's whether or not to let that limiting belief live in your life. Right now, let's agree, you're no longer going to let that limiting belief have power over you. You see, through this Dickens process, the reality that's going to transpire if you keep that limiting belief or if you let it go. As we move forward in our soul salutations with each one, be grateful for another person or another thing in your life. And we're going to do 8 of them. I think I did one extra sun salutation, and it was because I was thankful for you. Remember, this Dickens process is something that you can do as much as you want. You can do it every day. Don't look into the past and see that you screwed everything up. Look into the future and imagine what it's going to be like now that you've gotten past your limiting belief. Make no mistake, your limiting belief, whatever it is, it'll be back. Go through the process again. Hook up some soul salutations. Experience the gratefulness that is there because you made the timshel, the choice to move forward with your life. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. By the way, tomorrow I think is like the last day of summer. I think we're going to go someplace special. If not tomorrow, then Saturday for show.